Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is my 8th WAD progression update and this comes just after I've completed Scythe and just before I take on Rush. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to go through some of my highlights from Scythe and there really have been a lot. Scythe has been a big step up for me in terms of challenge. So much fun and so much learning along the way. From starting out with a carefree map 1 right through to a crushing map 30, it pretty much had it all. So Scythe ramps you in gently through episode 1, gives you a tough intro to your future in episode 2, and then throws absolutely everything at you in episode 3. So no disrespect to episodes 1 and 2, but it felt like the whole emphasis was to get you to episode 3, and the rest was the appetizer to lure you in and give you that false sense of security that you might actually be able to make your way through this one. So this has been a major WAD for my skill improvement, as it provided loads and loads of challenges along the way to a very broad set of skills for me and just nudged me forward on that journey. So they included lots of things like punching stuff, precise and fast movement, dealing with like a range of enemies from a range of different scenario, manipulating enemy positioning, dealing with kind of quite tough large hordes of enemies in one go, maximizing and promoting infighting. And I just learned a lot about Doom generally in terms of mechanics and things. So, SR40 and SR50 speed or strafe running, and also kind of line dev skipping and things of that type as well. But a really big part in this has been the growth in my confidence as a Doom player. So when my confidence is high, I can see that I perform so much better with Doom, and my confidence is really high after getting to the top of Scythe. So honestly, at the start of the year when I started this journey, and I was playing like Fava Beans and I was struggling with maps on base Ganymede, I didn't see myself getting to the point where I was going to get through Scythe, but so proud that I've made that, and so pleasing for me to see that journey evolve over that time. So in terms of specific highlights for the WAD, I wanted to go through a couple of specific maps for that, and the obvious ones are really in the home straight for Scythe. So start out with map 26 Fear, and this was my introduction to kind of arena-based slaughter, and it was so much fun. It's, you get the BFG, you get the rocket launcher, you get loads of ammo and a ton of megaspheres, and you just go for it and have fun. And loads of things like promoting and practicing infighting, manipulating the enemy positioning and movement so you've got space to move around the arena, and dodging loads of projectiles from different locations, from different heights, and growing volleys of Revenant rockets was so much fun. And also like dealing with all the cyber demons there and getting them involved to help you out was quite a big thing for me. It's not often I feel like the cyber demons are on my side, but they certainly were in this one, particularly when you've got to take down 666 enemies along the way. But I think a really key thing for me in that map was, despite the large enemy count, it's a pretty fast map to play through, so it's pretty punchy and a whole lot of fun doing it. After that, we've got map 27 Terror. So that's a very different format. Here we've got like narrow corridors, lots of close quarter combat, managing tight ammo resourcing, dealing with quite a large number of small but really intense fights and encounters. So quite a different focus on this one, including things like dealing with cyber demons when you've got a blur sphere on. But really enjoyed this one as well. I'm particularly proud to have recorded my first Archvile jump in a playthrough on this one, where I grabbed a megasphere off a pedestal. Then we moved on to map 28, Run From It. A very different challenge again. This is my first proper movement challenge with SR40 strafe running, and my first use of SR50 in anything, where I used it for the line dev skip. So I beat this map in 2 different ways. The first one was using the line dev skip to give me more time to complete the map, and the second one was doing it in a traditional kind of expected way, where you just run flat out to get to the end of the map before your time runs out. And I loved everything about this. I loved learning about the mechanics for the line dev skip, but I also loved practicing my running. So practicing the SR40 to get to the end, where I needed really clean, smooth lines and minimize my path distance. And it was the only way you can get to the end. Really tough on that one, but so rewarding when you get there. And also I just loved the changing focus of this map, where it's not all about, enemies and slaughter and taking stuff down. It's about movement and speed and precision. And I really enjoyed that. It was a bit of a breather and a bit of a change in focus, which is quite nice along the journey. And then last one for me is map 30 Fire and Ice. by far and away the pinnacle of my achievements in my Doom journey so far. I feel a really deep connection with this map. I absolutely love playing it. I described this one on the Doom World forum as, it felt like I was sparring with an old friend. So there was tons of mutual respect. I respected the map for the cunning it had in its encounters when it chewed me up, and I felt like it respected me when I prevailed in the end. So it was a tough map, tough encounter, but very, very rewarding to get through it. I knew pretty early on in this one that despite having 747 monsters in it, I was going to be able to get through this one. And I just needed to get a run where I maintained good consistency in it. So one or two bad mistakes, things start to come apart, you get a bit panicked, you take a rocket in the face and it all starts disintegrating and your run is over. But maintaining good consistency is the way to get through that one, and that's particularly tough because my successful run on this took me over an hour to record. So really enjoyed it, lots of fun, big challenge, and at the end I enjoyed it so much I continued playing after I completed it, and I started messing around as well with kind of UV speed attempts on it, and these aren't fast attempts. Like, I'm nowhere near the level of the top speed runners we have in the Doom community. They're pretty slow and pedestrian ones, but it's a different type of challenge. You're not trying to kill everything, you're not trying to find all of the secrets and so on. You're just trying to find the minimum path to get to the end and do it as quickly as you can. And it's quite a different experience on a map I enjoyed, so I took that one on and really enjoyed it. So I recorded those and uploaded those as well. But in all of this, Scythe has been a great experience for me, particularly episode 3. I absolutely loved it, but do be aware it can be pretty crushing, and it will not be everybody's kind of idea of a fun time. So do be warned with that. Just a shout out to the community as well. In the playthroughs I recorded for Scythe, I have used the community developed sprite fixes, episode selection, and level names for this. So check those out if you're interested. And I found these, they're a great set of kind of cosmetic updates to weapon and enemy sprites, as well as providing kind of custom level names and menu items, which I really, really enjoyed using and just improved the experience for me. So as always, I'll drop links to those in the description for everything I mentioned and anything that you might be interested in. So this is the standard snapshot that I use to track my progress as I work through all of these WADs, and you can see that it's been updated. We've got a tick mark against Scythe, indicating that my playthrough of that WAD has now been completed. We've got a target or a bullseye against Rush, indicating that that's the current WAD I've just started playing through. And you can see a question mark against Ancient Aliens, indicating that that's the next WAD I'm expecting to take on once I've completed my playthrough of Rush. So if we jump to the DoomWiki to get some details on Rush, this is what we find. Rush is a 12-map PWAD for Doom 2, created by Arthur O, also known as Archie, and released in 2014. And I quite like this description of it. One difficulty guide states that Rush is the de facto recommendation for getting to grips with slaughter maps, and that sounds pretty good to me. So if we scroll down here, we can see all the maps. You'll note here that we've got a 13th map, The End. That one doesn't get much attention because it's kind of an atmospheric farewell map. So most of the heavy lifting for the playthroughs will be in the first 12 maps. When we go over here to the summary side, we see these details. The author, again, is Arthur O. The port is Boom compatible, so this will be needed for our comp level settings. The IWAD is Doom 2, so we'll be using the Doom 2 assets. And the year it was released is 2014. And there's a link here to the Doom World forum if you'd like to download Rush and play along as well. So I'm really looking forward to my playthrough of Rush. I think the way I kind of think of it at the moment, from the basic details I understand, is it sounds like kind of a manageable entry point or challenge for those who are interested in getting involved or experimenting with slaughter maps. And that's definitely the case for me. So if we go back to my ugly Excel sheet, this tracks all of the playthroughs that we've had so far. You can see this is Scythe, and you can see everything is green because we've played through it all and uploaded it all to the channel. So if I scroll down, I've put in the new entries needed for Rush. So the format here, as always, the kind of WAD details are here in this section. We've got the software and settings in this section, and the channel tracking details are provided in this section. So starting off on this side with WAD details, we're using the rush.wad, which was released in 2014, and we're also using the sprite fixes WAD, which we've used previously. Okay. This section shows us the specific maps we're playing through, and again, I've scraped off the kind of high-level details from the DoomWiki. Main point of interest for me is we've got quite a few maps. So here here, here, and here, where we've got 500 plus enemies in a map. So you can tell there's going to be some fairly heavy work needed to get through this one. And much like Scythe, on the final map of the series, we've got well over 1,000 monsters and 7 secrets. So much like Scythe, it feels like that's going to be the kind of crushing finale for everything. So I'm really looking forward to getting to play that one. In terms of software and settings, you can see here we've got DSDA-Doom version 0.24.3 as the port that we're using. So I'm changing up from using PrBoom+, which I've used historically. These are from very similar origins, so there's going to be no major noticeable differences really, but DSDA-Doom has got a couple of features from the speedrunning side that I'm quite interested in, so I decided just to give it a go for some new experience. But I've really enjoyed PrBoom+, no reason to want to move away from it apart from just trying out new things. You can also see here we've got Doom 2 Hell on Earth version 1.9. That is the IWAD we're using for the assets. And over on the software and settings here, you can see full screen skill 4 as always, that's ultra violence, but we're using comp level 9 on this one because it's a Boom compatible WAD that we're playing through. As always, we're using ZDL-Doom version 3-1.1 as our launcher, and in the channel tracking details, not a lot here, lots of red because I haven't played through, apart from my first playthrough being recorded for map 1. So as I progress through the playthroughs for this, I'll be recording them all and I'll be uploading them to our channel. If you're interested in following along, I will release them with the standard thumbnail that you should be familiar with, which is got the WAD name here, the map ID here, the map name here, and over on this side it's got a quick Doom 2 logo because it's a Doom 2 WAD we're playing through, and it's got the Rush logo so you can have a quick visual aid to note that it's part of the Rush playthrough series. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who's kind of supported and followed the channel, and also just to say that I'm really looking forward to this playthrough. I've really enjoyed the playthrough so far, and I really hope to see you in the next playthroughs that I start uploading for Rush. So all the best until then.